She didn't lower her voice when she said it. That was the first thing I noticed. We were standing near the edge of the room, half lit by the bar's warm bulbs, the sound of other conversations filling the space between us. She looked straight at me and said, "I'm with someone else tonight." Not as a confession, more like a fact she expected me to absorb and react to. For a moment, nothing happened inside me. No rush of heat, no tightening in the chest. Just a strange clarity, like my body decided to step aside and let my mind handle it alone. I nodded once, slowly, as if she'd told me the time. "Oh," I said. That was it. Her expression shifted almost immediately. She had been braced for something. Anger, bargaining, hurt pride. Silence wasn't on her list. I could feel her watching me, waiting for the follow-up question, the challenge, the demand for explanation. It didn't come. I focused instead on the condensation sliding down my glass. On the way, the music dipped between songs. Detachment wasn't something I'd planned. It was something I'd learned. Over time, through small moments where reacting had only made me smaller. Through conversations where my restraint had been mistaken for weakness. She cleared her throat. "I just thought you should know." "I do," I said. My voice sounded steady even to me. "Thanks for telling me." That was when I saw the first crack of uncertainty. Not guilt, confusion. She had rehearsed this moment in a different direction. I realized then how often our dynamic had relied on my emotional availability, my willingness to carry the weight of discomfort so she didn't have to. The room mattered. This wasn't a private corner or a late-night call. We were at a professional networking event tied to a project we both touched in different ways. People drifted nearby. Names, reputations, future conversations hung in the air like invisible wires. She leaned closer, lowering her voice now. "You're taking this well." "I'm taking it accurately," I said. That's when she smiled, thin and relieved, mistaking composure for concession. "Good. I didn't want this to get complicated." I almost laughed, but stopped myself. Complicated was already in motion. She just didn't see how yet. What she didn't know, what I had never felt the need to advertise, was that my role on this project wasn't peripheral. I wasn't just another contributor. I was the compliance lead, the final checkpoint before approvals moved forward. Quiet authority. Procedural authority. The kind that doesn't announce itself until it has to. I hadn't intended to connect the dots. Not out of spite, simply because personal feelings don't erase professional responsibility. But timing has a way of arranging consequences without asking permission. A few minutes later, the event coordinator tapped my shoulder. "Can we grab you for a second?" she asked, glancing between us. I excused myself with a nod and followed her toward the side room. As we walked, I caught a glimpse of her watching me go, her brows pulled together slightly. Still no alarm, just curiosity. Inside, the coordinator closed the door and handed me a tablet. "We need your sign-off on the vendor adjustments," she said. "There's a potential conflict flagged." I scanned the screen. The conflict was real. It had been raised earlier that week, unresolved due to missing disclosures. One name sat at the center of it. Her name. "I'll need to pause this," I said evenly, "until the disclosure is complete." The coordinator exhaled. "That's going to delay things." "I know," I said, "but it's required." When I stepped back into the main room, the energy had shifted. Word travels fast in professional spaces. She approached me, her earlier confidence replaced by something tighter, more cautious. "What was that about?" she asked. I met her eyes again, not with satisfaction, with clarity. "There's an issue with the project," I said. "I can't move it forward right now." Her face drained of color. "Is this because of—" "No," I interrupted gently. "This is because of procedure." She searched my expression, looking for the edge, the punishment. There was none. Only distance, the kind that doesn't threaten, the kind that ends things without raising its voice. For the first time that night, she looked unsure of where she stood. Not just with me, but within the space she thought she controlled. "I didn't realize," she said quietly. "I know," I replied. There was nothing more to say. No speech, no final line. Authority doesn't need closure. It needs compliance. Later, walking out into the night air, the delayed ache finally arrived. It sat low and heavy, undeniable. Detachment hadn't erased the loss. It had just kept me intact long enough to leave with my dignity unspent. I didn't feel victorious. I felt finished. And for the first time in a long while, that was enough.